Hey everyone. So lately, it seems like the deep sea's trying to get our attention.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All these crazy deep sea creatures are popping up where they just shouldn't be.
Right.
And, you guys sent us this wild YouTube video by Dhruv Rathee called Why Are Deep Sea Creatures Coming to the Surface? And, well, we had to check it out.
Absolutely.
And let me tell you, it's got us totally hooked.
Yeah, me too.
So we're going deep on this one, folks.
Literally deep.
I mean, literally into the ocean layers to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
And we've got our expert here to help us, unpack it all.
Glad to be here.
So get ready to meet some pretty amazing creatures along the way.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking sea devil, oarfish,
Wow.
giant phantom jellyfish. I mean, these names are straight out of a sci-fi movie.
I know, right?
But it's not just about the cool factor.
Right.
We need to understand why they're coming up and what it means for the future of the deep sea.
Absolutely. We've got to figure out what this means for the whole ecosystem.
So we're taking you on a journey through the different zones of the ocean.
It's going to be quite a ride.
From the familiar sunlight zone all the way down to the Haddle zone.
Oh.
That's the deepest part of the ocean.
The most mysterious place on Earth.
Ooh, that Haddle zone. That's where the pressure's so intense.
Yeah, you know what it's like.
I can't even imagine.
It's like having an elephant standing on your thumbnail.
Oh, no thanks.
I know, right?
Before we get too deep, let's start with something a little more familiar, the sunlight zone.
Okay.
This is where most of the ocean action we see happens.
Right.
Whales, dolphins, sharks, all the stars of those nature documentaries we love.
All the big names.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So much life up there.
Yeah, the sunlight zone, it's teeming with life,
Why is that?
Well, because it gets plenty of sunlight, which allows phytoplankton.
Phytoplankton.
Yeah, those microscopic plants to thrive, and they form the base of the whole ocean food web.
Wow, so it all starts with the tiny guys.
It really does, but as we descend further, things start to change dramatically.
Oh, I bet.
Light fades, temperatures drop, the pressure starts to build.
Okay, now we're getting into the spooky stuff.
This is where we enter the twilight zone.
The Twilight Zone. Wow, that sounds ominous.
Yeah, it's a whole different world down there.
So what kind of creatures can survive in a place where the sunlight's just a dim memory?
Well, you have creatures like the strawberry squid, for example.
Strawberry squid. What?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It actually has one big eye for spotting silhouettes against the faint light from above.
Oh, wow. So it's adapted to the darkness.
Exactly. And it has another smaller eye for detecting bioluminescence.
Bioluminescence.
Yeah, those flashes of light that creatures use to communicate or attract prey in the darkness.
So it's like it has an eye for every occasion.
That's one way to put it.
But what about the next layer? The midnight zone, where it's pitch black.
Oh, now we're talking.
I'm already getting chills just thinking about it.
The midnight zone is where you find some of the most bizarre and fascinating creatures on Earth.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued.
I know, right? We'll talk about the anglerfish and its rather unusual mating strategy later.
Ooh, that's gotta be good.
But one creature that stands out even among the strangeness of the midnight zone is the barrel eye fish.
Barrel eye fish. Never heard of it.
Oh, it's incredible. It has this transparent head.
Wait, you can see its brain.
You can actually see its brain.
You're kidding me?
No kidding. Scientists believe this helps it gather even the faintest glimmers of light in the pitch black environment.
Okay, this is plain creepy.
Yeah.
But also kind of cool.
Yeah. That's a strange world down there. But the barrel eye is facing a problem.
Oh, what's that?
As the ocean warms, oxygen levels in the deep are dropping.
So it's like holding your breath for longer and longer each day.
That's a good way to think about it. What these creatures are dealing with.
Wow, that's gotta be tough. So are they trying to escape to shallower water where there's more oxygen?
That's one theory. And as you can imagine, a fish with a see-through head isn't exactly designed for a stealthy escape in the well-lit waters above.
Poor guy.
But it's not just the barrel eye that's being affected. As we descend further into the abyssal zone.
Abyssal zone.
Yeah, home to the Titanic wreckage and creatures that seem to defy imagination, we see the same pattern emerging.
Like the Dumbo octopus.
Yes, exactly.
A video of one, it looked like it was flying underwater. Adorable.
Yeah.
But is it also being affected by this lack of oxygen?
Absolutely. Even in the depths of the abyssal zone, these creatures are feeling the squeeze.
So even way down there, they can't escape what's happening.
It's a global problem. The delicate balance they've adapted to over millions of years is being disrupted.
Forcing them to make some tough choices.
Exactly. And then we reach the Haddle zone, the deepest part of the ocean.
That's the elephant on your thumbnail pressure zone, right?
That's the one.
I mean, what could possibly survive down there? And are those creatures feeling the effects of what's happening above?
Surprisingly, yes. Even at those depths, there's life.
Wow, no escape.
And even there, the effects of a changing climate are being felt. We'll talk more about this in a bit, but it's important to realize that no part of the ocean is immune to what's happening on our planet.
It's all connected.
Exactly. But before we get into the why, there's one more fascinating phenomenon we need to explore.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat. What else is going on down there?
Well, during World War II, sonar operators noticed something strange.
Oh, really? What was that?
They thought the seafloor was rising hundreds of meters each night.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it was really weird. But it turned out to be something even more remarkable. It was a massive migration of sea creatures.
That's...
Known as diel vertical migration, or DVM.
So it's like rush hour, but for deep-sea creatures.
You could say that.
Or are they all heading to work or something?
Not quite work, but it's all about finding food. During the day, many deep-sea creatures stay in the relative safety of the depths.
Makes sense.
Then, under the cover of darkness, they ascend to the surface to feed on the phytoplankton and zooplankton that bloom at night.
So it's like a giant underwater buffet.
Pretty much, yeah. They come up to feast.
But it's got to be risky.
Oh, absolutely. There are predators lurking everywhere.
So this nightly migration is driven by food.
Yeah, food and survival.
But what are the risks involved for these creatures?
That's a great question, and it leads us to the heart of the mystery we're trying to solve.
Ooh, I can't wait to hear more.
Well, stay tuned because we're about to dive even deeper into this incredible world.
That's getting good, folks. Don't go anywhere.
You see this age-old migration pattern?
Yeah.
This delicate dance between the depths and the surface is being disrupted?
So it's not just about the creatures being forced into shallower waters because of the lack of oxygen.
Right.
Climate change is messing with their whole routine.
Exactly. The ocean absorbs a massive amount of the heat trapped by greenhouse gases.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And as those deep waters warm, the delicate balance these creatures have adapted to over millennia,
Yeah.
it's thrown into chaos.
It's like if someone cranked up the thermostat in their home.
Right.
And suddenly everything starts to go wrong.
Exactly. It's a huge disruption to their environment.
But haven't some species adapted to changing environments before?
Yeah.
Is there any hope for these deep-sea creatures?
That's the million-dollar question. Some species are more adaptable than others.
Right.
But the rate at which the ocean is changing, it's unprecedented.
Yeah, that's true.
It's putting immense pressure on these deep-sea ecosystems.
So climate change is one thing.
Right.
But there's another threat looming on the horizon.
Oh, what's that?
Deep sea mining.
Ah, yes. That's a big word.
It's like the Wild West down there, right?
Pretty much.
Companies are rushing to scoop up valuable minerals from the seafloor.
Yeah, they're seeing dollar signs.
But what's the big deal? It's not like we're talking about coral reefs here.
Well, it's easy to think that way.
Yeah.
But the deep sea is just as teeming with life as any coral reef.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And the creatures that live there, they're just as vulnerable.
I guess I didn't think about it that way.
The video uses a fascinating example, the scaly-foot snail.
Scaly-foot snail. Okay.
Imagine a snail wearing a suit of armor.
What?
That's basically what this little guy looks like, with iron-plated scales on its foot.
A snail with metal armor. How is that even possible?
It's one of the many incredible adaptations we see in the deep sea. This snail lives near hydrothermal vents.
What are those?
Those underwater geysers that spew out superheated water.
Wow. Oh,
It's a pretty harsh environment,
But its very existence is threatened by mining companies.
unfortunately.
They're seeking to exploit those same hydrothermal vents for gold and silver.
Exactly. They're after the precious metals.
So they're literally ripping apart the homes of these creatures for profit.
It's a classic case of short-term gain versus long-term consequences.
That just seems wrong.
And the situation gets even more complicated when you factor in politics.
Oh, boy.
The video calls out politicians like Donald Trump and Narendra Modi who have supported deep-sea mining initiatives.
So it's a bit of a tug-of-war between those who want to protect the deep sea
Right.
and those who see it as a potential gold mine.
Literally a gold mine. And that's where organizations like the Deep Sea Conservation Coalition or Greenpeace are stepping in.
Oh, that's good to hear.
They're pushing back against these mining initiatives and raising awareness about the potential consequences. They've even started a petition to stop deep sea mining altogether.
It's encouraging to see people fighting for the deep sea,
It is.
even if it seems like a David and Goliath situation. But what can we as individuals really do to make a difference?
That's where the power of collective action comes in. Remember those millions of creatures migrating up and down the water column every day?
Yeah, the rush hour.
Each one plays a role in the larger ecosystem.
Right.
And in the same way, our individual actions can have a ripple effect.
So you're saying we shouldn't underestimate the power of one signature on a petition.
Exactly.
One donation to a conservation organization.
Right.
One conversation about the importance of protecting the deep sea.
Absolutely. These seemingly small actions can add up to create a wave of change.
That's a good point.
And remember, we've only explored about 5% of the ocean.
That's crazy.
There's so much we don't know. So many mysteries yet to be uncovered. Imagine the potential for scientific breakthroughs, for understanding the origins of life itself, for discovering new species and ecosystems.
It's like we're just scratching the surface of a whole other world down there.
We really are.
And it's a world that's in danger.
Yeah.
So what are the biggest takeaways here? What do we need to remember?
First, the deep sea is facing a double whammy. Climate change is disrupting the delicate balance of these ecosystems.
Okay.
And deep sea mining threatens to destroy habitats before we even have a chance to understand them.
Right.
Second, what happens in the deep sea doesn't stay in the deep sea. It affects the entire planet, including us.
It's all connected.
And third, we all have a role to play in protecting this incredible yet vulnerable part of our world.
I think that's a really important message.
I agree. We all need to do our part.
It's mind-blowing, to think that we know more about the surface of the moon than we do about the depths of our own oceans.
I know, it's crazy, right?
And yet what we are learning is that these seemingly alien environments are, deeply connected to our own lives.
They really are.
It's all part of this big system.
Exactly. The deep sea plays a vital role in regulating our planet's climate.
Well, for sure.
It acts as a giant carbon sink,
Carbon sink.
absorbing huge amounts of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere.
Oh, I see.
In fact, it's estimated that the ocean has absorbed about 30% of the carbon dioxide released by human activities since the Industrial Revolution.
Wow, that's a massive amount. So damaging these deep sea ecosystems could actually worsen climate change.
Absolutely. Disrupting the deep sea could release that stored carbon back into the atmosphere,
Oh, no.
accelerating the warming trend.
That's scary. And it's not just about climate change, right?
Really, sir.
The deep sea is also a source of incredible biodiversity.
Oh, yeah. One of the most biodiverse places on Earth.
It's home to countless species, many of which are still unknown to science.
Exactly. So much left to discover.
It's almost like exploring another planet right here on Earth.
It really is a whole other world down there.
And just like we wouldn't dream of bulldozing a rainforest for a quick profit, we need to approach the deep sea with the same level of respect and caution.
Absolutely. We need to protect what we don't understand.
This deep dive has been eye-opening, to say the least.
It's been a journey, hasn't it?
The wonders of the deep sea are truly awe-inspiring.
No doubt.
But the threats they face are very real and urgent.
They are. We need to act now.
So what can we do? Where do we even start?
Well, the first step is awareness.
Okay.
We need to educate ourselves and others about the importance of the deep sea and the threats it faces.
I have to admit, I wasn't even aware of the deep sea mining issue before we started this deep dive.
That's why these conversations are so crucial.
Yeah.
We need to bring these issues to light, get people talking, make sure leaders are prioritizing the health of our planet over short-term economic gains.
The video mentioned the Deep Sea Conservation Coalition and Greenpeace as organizations working to protect the deep sea.
Yes, they're doing great work.
Are there other ways we can get involved?
Absolutely. Supporting these organizations through donations or volunteering is a great way to make a direct impact.
Yeah.
And don't underestimate the power of your voice. Contact your elected officials, sign petitions, talk to your friends and family.
Right.
Every action, no matter how small, contributes to the movement for change.
It's like we're all part of this massive interconnected web of life.
We are.
From the tiniest plankton to the largest whale. And what affects one part of the web ultimately affects us all.
That's a beautiful way to put it. We're all in this together. And the choices we make today will determine the fate of not just the deep sea, but the entire planet.
Well, this has been an incredible journey.
I've enjoyed it.
We've gone from the sunlit surface to the crushing depths, encountered creatures that seem like they belong in a science fiction movie.
It's like another world down there.
And learned about the urgent threats facing this hidden world.
Yeah, it's a world worth protecting.
And remember, we've only explored a tiny fraction of the ocean.
That's right.
Who knows what other wonders and mysteries are waiting to be discovered?
That's the beauty and the challenge of the deep sea.
It's a reminder that there's still so much left to learn.
Yeah.
So much to protect.
We need to be stewards of this planet.
So, to our listeners, we leave you with this.
Okay.
Keep exploring, keep learning, keep asking questions.
Absolutely.
And most importantly, keep fighting for the future of our oceans.
Yes, our oceans need us.
Because as we've learned today, the deep sea is not just some far-off alien world. It's an integral part of our planet, and its fate is intertwined with our own.
We're all connected.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, folks.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep exploring the unknown.